answered my calls. Say you're not done falling. Say our love is ours. Say you're waiting for me, that you wanna press restart.
All right. The music has been paused and we are go. Recording. All right, so just for everybody, there's going to be a really sharp edit. My mic quit working because GoXLR's drivers decided to die when I touched a wire, and it killed the drivers for everything, screwed everything up. All the audio went haywire. I actually have all the audio fixed now, so that Discord actually shows on the Discord audio bar when it's recording and not anywhere else. And then the desktop stuff plays on the desktop audio and not anywhere else. So we now have, for now, properly recording sound across the board. Now, as we know, this, who knows how long that will last.
Yeah, I'll believe it when the video's up.
Yeah.
When the video's on YouTube, I'll believe it.
I mean, it's just, I've got to get, I mean, I don't know, I guess it's just the way. Talk again, Placebo.
Okay. I shall talk again.
Okay, so I've now muted Discord because it was trying to do the dual audio, and I refused to let it do that. So I caught it early. I looked over and caught it. So not bad enough that I'm going to redo this. Let me get us back to where we were doing documents. We were asking questions. You know what? Yeah, since we're doing this is basically a short. we asked some meaningful questions and they got lost because the audio was muted. I will save the rest of those for next week. We'll just do a we'll discuss what's on social media. I mean, this won't be the most meaningful, impactful stream that people have ever had in their lives.
It's us talking.
It's us talking.
It will be meaningful.
That's true. I mean, I can't deny this. Okay.
Exactly.
Let me pull up share your screen. I share the right screen. There we go. We already talked about having loving. That we actually did. That one actually got captured, so I'm glad because we both agreed having loving parents was good. There's the How Crazy Matrix. What do you think about that?
I've seen the video of this being made. It's fantastic. It's really, really good. By and large, I quite like it. I think that there is unfortunately a lot of accuracy to it.
Yes, and I think this is because there's a reason for this. I think the more attractive you are, the less you've been told no, regardless of if you're doing something right or not. Like, a lot of people will let you get away with stuff. Less you get corrected, the less you've been left out of a situation. So you haven't had to socially adapt the way less hot people have. And so they think what they're doing, they haven't had to learn to emotionally regulate, because if your acceptance in a group is based on your ability to emotionally regulate and not just go off the deep end every time, that's a learned lesson, right? Like, if you don't have to do that, then you never learn it, and you just think going crazy is the proper, just automatically reacting off of your emotions to the extreme.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a reason why this is. It's not necessarily that there is hot makes them crazy. It's that hot allows them to be crazy. And then they just never learn to not be crazy. They think that is normal.
There are also a couple other perhaps confounding variables, right? Like,
okay, please.
Hot people probably have like really, really good skincare, healthcare routines. Hard to do when you're from a poor family, right? So just literally monetary affluence of your family, I think, has a little bit of a part to play. And then I also think that contributes to crazy. If you are super fucking rich, right?
You're out of touch.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
I saw the guy that when he made this, there's a part missing Did you ever see the video of the guy who made this? Because there is a
Yeah,
part
where he was
missing,
like
and I'm gonna
drawing
play
it
that
on
for you.
a magic board or whatever, a
Yes.
marker board. Yeah. Go ahead, but I
Yeah,
don't
so
remember. I don't remember what the part missing
right
is.
above unicorn, between wife zone and unicorn, there's something else. And he says you got to be very careful because if you
Here,
find
I'll.
someone who's like a 9 or 10 hot and like almost not crazy at all,
Uh
that's a dude. That's a dude that you're talking to.
huh. That's funny. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's like you're actually talking to a man dressed as. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Right.
funny. That is good. Um,
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be so radical, but like Homath did this but better.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
Homath has
Homath,
I
that's
mean,
one
he's
I
taken
follow.
this to a new level.
Yeah, yeah. I follow that one as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Most
going.
of what he says is pretty good. Oh man, I have to talk about Homath while you're gone. Uh, I don't know. I mean, okay, so for guys, he thinks there are three attributes. There's your keepers, there's your sleepers, and there's your sweepers, right? And the keepers are like the wife material in this instance, right? The sleepers are the ones that you will hang out with, you'll have fun with, but you would never marry, you would never, go solo with. And then the sweepers, you will not admit to having been with them before, but you probably will be. You might on a bad day go for it. Um, and then there's a whole like, it's funny if you look at the guy versus the girl chart. The guy chart is very simple, three categories. The girl chart is like 20 different categories.
Yeah.
Um,
He's trying to find.
I don't know.
enough
He
water down here to
articulates it much
survive.
better than I do.
It's fine. I thought you did a good job. I just ran out
Appreciate
of
it.
water, so I went on a reconnaissance of water in my room, and this is until I finish recording. This is what I got to work with, so got to make sure that I don't get too parched. But yeah, no, I just I thought that was an interesting because I think there's actually something other than just guys being like chicks. I
Yeah.
think there's actually like some a slight bit of wisdom to it. And there's a reason for it. Like you said, wealthy, attractive, there's all kinds of elements that cause you to be less personally aware and socially aware.
Yeah.
Let's see here. See what the next one says. You can't explain the evils of socialism to a young person while they are forced to go. Okay. I always like talking about this a little bit because I think there's something to this. They are forced to go $80,000 in debt to get the same job their father got with an apprenticeship, or while their tech job that they were told was the golden ticket is being actively outsourced to India. I would say AI is starting to do that as well. And so part of me goes, we've talked about this kind of before, but I think there's a 50-50 on this, right? Like, I do think financially things are harder now.
Yeah.
The dollar buys less, or per, like, adjusted for inflation.
The
money
purchasing
still buys
power
less.
of the
purchase
the
power.
purchasing power of the American family, the American
Yeah.
person is low-ish compared to what it has been.
Yes, but I also think there is laziness, and also that doesn't justify. Like, I think this actually makes a clear case for someone who doesn't quite understand how socialism works from a governmental perspective. In that socialism has almost never increased the spending power long term. It's like very short term. It's like few years. They go, oh, this is paid for now. Oh, and then but it's very quickly the taxation jumps up or the inflation jumps up. Something matches it to where it actually decreases the spending power. And so it was one of those where I just didn't think the guy. I don't know. It's an interesting element because I do think sometimes my dad watches Fox News, and sometimes I go up there and they just got like the grumpy, conservatives like these kids these days just need to work. They just don't want to work, and it's like okay,
The Kersnatchity old man.
That's partially Kersnatchy old man. It's like that's partially true, but also not. It's like you have to admit the reality that there are also some other elements at play, And maybe they're complaining about some of these other elements, and they're not complaining about their inability to work. They're complaining about, even if they work, they're still not going to have the same kind of expendable income. And but I don't think the solution is, socially. I think there's let's fix some of the broken elements of what we have now.
The harsh reality that almost every job requires a bachelor's degree is such fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I
right?
agree.
Like there are so many jobs that do not require a bachelor's degree to do, but every company feels justified in throwing in, we require a bachelor's degree. That's bullshit. That is truly, I think, evil and not right.
Oh, I agree.
I will say though, since I've been looking into it, to go to firefighter school near me, that's going to be about $5,000, between 5 and 7 grand. First year as a firefighter around here, you make 55 grand. So, I'm just saying, that ain't getting sourced out to AI.
Yeah. Yet until there's
saying,
robots with spray things on them, and Elon Musk has put his sense. You're right.
I'm certainly not saying that everyone should take this job where they're risking their lives.
Yeah, and it's a very physically demanding. So a lot of people can't do physically demanding work.
Yeah. Totally get that. But it at least alleviates a little bit of the problem, I hope, for some people.
No, I agree. I do think the trades got just drastically. Somehow they got super pushed down and shamed when it's crazy how much you can make with them with no investment. It's
although I think recently, unfortunately, the narrative has gone the other way. I feel like so often I hear the trades are pushed down, the trades are not treated right, the trades this, and no one feels like ever saying, hey, you're really, really fucking sharp and good in school, maybe you should go to college, right? All I ever hear is trade school, trade school, trade school, trade school. College is broken. Trade school, trade school, trade school.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to overcorrect.
No, I agree. I do think there's an element of overcorrection. Actually, I think Mike Rowe does a good job.
Hero, man.
He does a great job of explaining. He's like, no, this doesn't mean college is let's just abolish college, right? He's like, there's people who that's where they should be going, but for so long we pushed people who shouldn't be going to college. That's why we've lowered standards. That's why we've increased how easy it is to get funding that you'll have to pay off for the rest of your it's because we were pushing people who actually don't need to be there and shouldn't be there and aren't capable of being there into that avenue. And it's also devalued.
I love Micro.
I agree.
Love Micro. He's great, man. There's someone we should be talking about way more than Elon or Trump.
No, I agree. I fully agree that Micro is an exceptional, and he's exceptionally smart. When you see his responses to people, that's when you really get to see his brain go, and you're like, man, this guy is really clicking.
He was quoting some Shakespeare in the TED talk he did, where he talked about biting off some goat balls and he had them hanging from his chin, and he named them these Gregorian names and I was deeply impressed. Dude is very, very smart. Smarter than me for sure.
Because I think a lot of people could be under the misnomer that if somebody's their job was to do the dirty work, it's almost like, they found a dumb guy who can just do this, but it's not. He's exceptionally intelligent, and I think that's actually why it succeeded. He knew how to make that show work and how to highlight what needed to be highlighted and stuff. So he's, but I agree. We need to talk about that more.
I always say philosophy is a skill that can be applied in almost any context. I think the dude is an amazing philosopher. I think he has figured shit out on his own, just with his brain working, and he's done it applied to the dirty job scene, and I very much respect it. I think it's how a lot of people should use it. A lot of philosophy gets lost up in the clouds, but I think it's
not
better
applicable.
Used here in the world, and he's done the right thing with it.
I agree. Now I do think that is really the valuable part that gets lost so aggressively in academia, because I think that's the case for most academia, is that people, if they took it and figured out how it could apply to real world elements, a lot of these degrees would actually still be useful. But the problem is academia took it and actually pushed it the other way with all their little rules and what it takes to get published and all. I mean, and they're so focused on will this pass academic which by the way are academic standards that they came up with just to make it seem like they're more complicated than they are, instead of going, how is what you're studying actually going to impact like the real world? People are going to use this. It can be effective in a genuine scenario, not in some imaginary, floofy, ideological way.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think that's like, I wish more people would apply what they know to real things, and it would.
Yeah.
We should start that process early, having your brain think about, how can I make this actually a meaningful thing? You know, how can I make this work?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, get off on that. Oh, this was kind of interesting. I kind of like, let me, I'll hit play and then I guess make it to where people can see
Yeah.
it.
Let's do it.
Life hands you lemons.
Make lemonade?
No. First, you roll out a multimedia campaign to convince people lemons are incredibly scarce, which only works if you stockpile lemons, control the supply, then a media blitz. Lemons are the only way to say I love you, the must-have accessory for engagements or anniversaries. Roses are out, lemons are in, billboards that say she won't have sex with you unless you've got lemons. You cut the beers in on it, limited edition lemon bracelets, yellow diamonds called lemon drops. You get Apple to call their new operating system OS Lemon. Little accent over the O. You charge 40% more for organic lemons, 50% more for conflict-free lemons. You pack the capital with lemon lobbyists. You get a Kardashian to suck a lemon wedge in a leaked sex tape. Timothy Chalamet wears lemon shoes at Cannes. Get a hashtag campaign. Something isn't cool or tight or awesome. No, it's lemon. Did you see that movie? Did you go to that concert? It was effing lemon. Billie Eilish, OMG, hashtag lemon. You get Dr. Oz to recommend 4 lemons a day and a lemon suppository supplement to get rid of toxins, because there's nothing scarier than toxins. Then you patent the seeds. You write a line of genetic code that makes lemons look just a little more like tits, and you get a gene patent for the tit lemon DNA sequence. You cross-pollinate. You get those seeds circulating in the wild, and then you sue the farmers for copyright infringement when that genetic code shows up on their land. Sit back, rake in the millions, and then, when you're done, and you've sold your lempire for a few $1 billion, then, and only then, you make some fucking lemonade.
All right.
So, what do you think about that? Is, I suppose, my quandary here.
I think it's fairly accurate for how aggressively we are easily manipulated. Think about engagement rings.
I'll agree with that.
Those did not exist until jewelry companies out of nowhere made, you have to have a diamond for an engagement ring or else he doesn't love you. It really is interesting. You see this happen over and over again. Most marketing companies realize you don't convince dudes, because dudes are too practical with their money. I mean,
Yeah.
they obviously have
If-
splurges, but
If a guy could have sex with a woman in a cardboard box, he'd never buy a house.
exactly. And so what they do is they go, he doesn't love you unless ring, and he doesn't love you unless he gets X amount of. He has to pay a third of his yearly income on your ring, or a
Yeah.
third of his month, or something like that, right? Like they keep
Yeah.
pushing it, and I think that has
And
happened
now
multiple
there's
times.
promise rings.
Yeah.
The promise ring that leads to the engagement ring that leads to the marriage ring. You're right about that. It's all fucked.
And so I think what he described is broken crony capitalism, right? Like that's
Agreed.
not.
That
it's
was
not
my
pure
opinion.
capitalism.
When I was watching that, I was thinking that this guy, if people think like him, that you're the problem. You
Yes.
know, you need to fix that. No, if life gives you lemons, the right thing to do as a human for all the other humans around you is make lemonade.
Right.
It's not any of the shit that he said,
Mhm.
right? But if you're overly focused on yourself and fuck everyone else, then yeah, it's the right thing to do. But if
Yeah.
you think that way, go to hell. I don't know.
I do agree. I think that is another element of it, right? There's two elements. There's how easily society is manipulated, and how much we're worried about how we let a sex video somehow influence the way we view things. How if a celebrity, people who let celebrities convince them that a name brand something or another is better than something else. I mean, like, part of that is on us societally to not be so easily brainwashed by what we consume. But I do think the other element is that, we don't shame people for being hyper selfish when it comes to money, because I think that is it's something there. It's not.
Yeah.
It's too. I mean, sure, you can take care of yourself, but there is a point when it gets to where you're trying to figure out how to destroy other people to get your own, or you don't care about how it affects other people.
It's the same childish thing that is pushing someone else down to look big at the playground, right? It is the same childish bullshit, just in adult form, but now it has real consequences on huge amounts of people's lives. And there is something broken in those people when they can't find the right balance. There just is.
I agree.
And they need to grow up and sort through that shit. It also is incumbent upon us as people who are not in those positions to not allow them to manipulate us. You're absolutely right about that, right? We need to be vigilant. But if we have to be ever vigilant, assault rifles pointed at the outskirts of the woods 24/7, that's not much of a life for us either, right?
I don't. It's a tough to sit, because I also know that people misunderstand wealthy people, because let's say Elon Musk. Elon Musk does not actually have $800 billion, right? He actually probably in his bank has $100 million, and almost the rest of that is invested in the business. Like, he has a value of $800 billion. So that means his Tesla that is worth, they basically value Tesla at $300 billion, right? So then that's part of his value, but it's not real money. You know what I mean? He would have to sell it and do it, so on. So, and it's also all the people that are working for it, they're getting value out of that $800 billion. And the same thing with his rocket company and his internet company. So it's like, there is an element, because I'm like, people are like, oh, just pay more or do that. It's like, I do think there's an element of truth to that there are wealthy people who are just going to rip off people no matter what, but there's also an element where poor people don't understand how high-end economics work, so that they think there's just rich people sitting with $800 billion in their bank, and they don't realize, no, that money is out there. It's not even theirs to use unless they sell stuff, and they have to go through all these processes, but also it's generating work for other. It is kind of doing social good. Like, there's a lot of people that work for Tesla. There's a bazillion people who make loads of money, and their family has their bills paid because Tesla gives them work. And the same thing for SpaceX. I mean, he employs something like, I don't know, 100,000 people. It's amongst all of his things, it's some insane number, and he pays really well. His pay scale is actually really, he doesn't underpay, especially skilled positions, I would say. But then you see people like Amazon. Amazon's the key of this, right? Amazon's the one that works their employees to the bone physically, and barely they pay them $15-$20 an hour, and then if they get injured, they almost toss them. They don't, it's like I think that's the example of large corporation that abuses their employees and just takes everything they can out of it.
You shouldn't have used Elon, because you know how I am with him, right? I agree. Amazon seems worse to their employees, right? But I can't help but be reminded of the fact that there was that visa program that came out, and Elon was saying over and over again, we don't have the skilled workers here. We need these work visas to bring them in. And then 72% or something like that of the people that came in were for entry-level positions that were totally unskilled, right? And so the argument he's making publicly is totally converse to what his actions are saying. And if you have to pick between his words and his actions, you pick his actions every fucking time. And they tell you that what he really cares about is paying these people less because they come in from Mexico and other places to do the work for less money, right? So that he can put more in his bank account. So it's actually taking money out of this positive circulation that you're referencing, which does exist. It does.
Well, that's what I was
But
saying.
the
I
right
guess
thing to
I
do
was
is let
I was
that
looking at
flourish and
upper
not pour
management
it
and
into a
stuff
bank
more
account.
than
You're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I
'cause,
just
I mean, God, it's weird.
there are some examples. A thing popped up in my RSS feed a few days ago about some guy who sold his company for like I think it was like 800 million or something like that, maybe a bit more than that. And he basically went to his wife and said, "Okay, how much do you think we need of this?" Right? And they said what they did is they came up with a number, and I think it was like 50 million. And they said we could live comfortably, just everything that we could, no stress, 50
Yeah.
million. And they said, well, let's be safe. Let's double it. Okay, so they doubled it,
Yeah.
100 million, and then the rest of it they gave away, right? And I couldn't help but think, like, I part of me wants to go, that is heroic, and part of me wants to go, that should be the norm, right? Figure out what number you can live with, double it because you've put in the work, you've earned it. Absolutely have the peace of mind, double it. But then throw the rest back in this, because that I think would contribute more to the positive cycle.
Yeah, I'd have to see who they gave it away to, because I feel like a lot of times
Sure.
people give it to charities, and then it just goes into someone else's pocket who's holding it, and it never goes to doing anything. And also, I'm trying to think how, because like, part of me goes, we need somebody like Elon who can buy Twitter when when literally all of social media was completely biased, and there was no, you couldn't discuss certain political topics at all, and it turned out that the things that were being censored were the correct positions. So factually correct positions were being completely blocked. You were losing. They were as much censorship as, honestly, as Nazi Germany was doing, right? Like, they were, you disagree with us, we will completely remove your ability to speak publicly on this platform. And it was on correct positions. So I'm like, we need wealthy people, but we need good wealthy people. Like, we need somebody who can go out, and I don't think Elon's necessarily good, but in this instance, I do think that was a massive
Sure.
good.
You could point at a good thing that
Yes,
he did.
I do think this is a good thing that he did. And so it's like, but we need people who just have, like, because you would have to have a massive amount of money to counter the bad guys who are going to have massive amounts of money. And the only way he could do that is if he overpowered them, basically. Like, so it's a weird, I mean, yes, I guess idealistically, you're right.
Like a nuclear arms race.
Yes, what you're saying is right, except then we have to do the thing where we're like, but we know there's going to be wicked people and evil dudes
Absolutely.
who are going to just run it up and then use their power to.
That's
like
the natural next part. All right, so he throws that 700 million back into the economy, and what's going to happen? It's going to find its way back up towards the other super wealthy people who are not as noble, right? And then it's going to be further removed from the economy because it's going to sit in their bank account, because they only feel like their balls are big enough when their bank account has 7 figures instead of 6. To which I say there's something broken in them, and I hope that some hunk gets to fuck their wives.
Yeah. And then they pay somebody to kill the hunk, and they get a new hot wife that's been built with plastic.
Right. They bathe they kill the gladiator, send them into, bathe their wife in his blood. That's the Marcus Aurelius thing, right?
I don't know if there's a solution to it, because right, that's kind of, Roma's getting biblical.
I don't know how you impose moral standards.
That's what I'm saying. Roma's getting biblical, right? Like, it's like the world
Okay.
gets waxed worse and worse until God's finally like, okay, reset button,
Yeah.
And so I wonder if there is like any kind of actual intellectual. I mean, is there? I find this a lot with libertarians. It's funny. Her name's redheaded libertarian. I actually like a lot of the stuff she says. She's very sharp. Very historically. She goes off of, like, Constitution. She's very, like, she's a historian. But I find libertarians do this too, where it's like, it's the right idea, but it won't work because, or it needs multiple steps before we could implement it, if that makes sense. It's like, oh, sure, we could not build a wall and have it open everything if we convinced all the Congress to completely remove all social benefits, right? There's no health care, there's no welfare, there's no food. If you come here, you have to make it on your own. It's just you are on your own. It's like, and if we had so on and so forth, but it's like that's so many steps away from a reality that we can't implement this element of it now. We have to work with what we have now and kind of like go that direction. And it's like it's so tough because a lot of the stuff we talk about are, you know, it is kind of like heady, and it's like, man, this is clearly what we should do, but is it what we can do? And that's where I always get stuck. Huh?
It's a good question. I don't know the answer. I think by and large the country that we live in was made to be slow and made to be, you know, intentionally, you know, stagnant at times. And,
I agree.
I await the philosopher king. I await him being dragged before the masses against his will and forced to do the job, and then I think we will have peace.
Yeah. Or he'll be the Antichrist.
I nominate Mike Rowe.
Yeah.
I nominate Mike Rowe.
Mike Rowe. Yes, here. Mike Rowe for Lord Rowe. We will call him Lord Rowe.
I love it. Yes.
All right. I have made Placebo stay up way past his Betty by time.
Sorry, you can probably tell I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I can see you rubbing your. But I mean, we made it 30 minutes, and I can add that on to like the 10 or 15 earlier, and it'll be a good. We fucked up this week podcast. You know, like it's solid.
Very good.
It's a good little hold you over. We'll have a full one next week. I promise. We'll have a normal podcast. We'll have. I think. I don't know. It depends if Evil and Appa want to play video games when I ask us to record. But if they aren't doing anything at the time, I hopefully will be able to get them to also show up, and we will have a full crew next week. So please come back next week.
They'll join us.
I hope so too. I think so too. I think I can get them, or you can get them. I'll use you and their love for you.
No, if we're at the normal time, I think they'll come. I think they only didn't this time because it's late.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out and putting. I think we still did all right. We still covered some topics fairly decent. Wasn't interesting.
I think we did all right twice.
That's right.
What I think.
You're right. I'm kind of sad that people didn't get the like 25 minutes of content that was muted.
I thought it was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But anyway, love you all. I'll see you again next week. Let me turn on the music.